And welcome back to NewsGang. So we are just wrapping up our conversation on the Haiti mission, which way it goes, what happens. 2nd of October is when this mission lapses, Jay.
And the president says we will not walk away. Mm-hmm. I think his frustration stems from everything that was wrong from day one. This mission was going to be a black spot in President Ruto's administration either way, because it lacked, first of all, the public trust. You remember there was a lot of hue and cry from Kenyans on why. And as much as our missions to the UN peacekeeping have been successful previously, but this was a different terrain. Currently, we are told that 90% of Haiti's capital is still a gangland, that the Kenyan troops are only in control of about 20%. And I think that forms the big question. Why must they continue to stay there? The different players in the global matrix that withdrew or did not participate as expected, also the president really needs to find out why. Because there's something they knew. And also we must understand, or we must be told, why Kenya went headfirst in this. Because the rush by which the executive decided that we were sending our troops to Haiti tells us something. And probably if you come back to Moses Kuria's tweet about Meg Whitman, then the answers are abound. Finally, I think the design of this mission is terribly flawed. As it is right now, the Kenyan mission was supposed to go and stabilize it, and hopefully the social life begins, and then the political aspect of it. As it is, they've got a long way to go. 2nd of October is here. We need to get our boys back home. It's the only sane thing to do.
You see them coming back? Because 2nd of October, like we said, is exactly a week from now.
It's a week from now.
Will we be sitting here and hearing that
nothing is happening at the UN Security Council?
Yes.
The decisions that needed to have been made ought to have been made this week. If they've not been made by today, then this mission won't succeed.
Yeah, and I think even those supplementary budgets that you highlighted just showed the struggle. Huh? It's, okay, let's scramble some resources internally, waiting for some money, and then the money doesn't come through, and then you go Fuliza again with Article 223, it doesn't come through again, and then you Fuliza a third time. So it just shows you about how, like you said, there's been such a scramble with this one. Doesn't seem like the planning and everything was smooth and seamless.
Exactly.
2nd of October, Sam?
Reuters on Wednesday, which is yesterday, was reporting that the Kenyan-led MSS, that is Multinational Security Mission.
Yes.
No, the other S, what does it stand for?
It's a Multinational Security Support Mission.
Thank you. Deployed in Haiti in June last year, but has struggled to make headway in curbing violent armed gangs, some of which Washington has designated as terrorist organizations in and beyond the capital of Port-au-Prince. So there's so much work to be done. And yes, of course, as the president says that within those 15 months there has been work done. He says that there are schools that have gone back to operation, children are going back to school, and the civilians also having going on with their lives. So we wait to see what that looks like, and I hope that we can do so because it looks that that's an enormous situation that is in Haiti. But at the same time, Yvonne, when the president was complaining about the equipment that was donated or given to the officers in Haiti, saying it was second-hand, a bit old, and therefore hampered the operations of the Kenyan police officers, I'm also reminded of, remember last year, during the state visit to the US, President Ruto, hosted by President Joe Biden at the time, when Kenya was also declared a NATO ally, and with that came some goodies, including some 16 helicopters and 150 armored vehicles from the US. Of course, there has been that debate. Are these new equipment? Are they old? Maybe old, not too old, maybe used, not very used. There are questions to be asked here. If that is the case, that you'll be receiving equipment from the US, I don't know if they have come in. If they have, perhaps we haven't heard of the details about the state of the equipment. But it also goes to show you how disadvantaged we might be at a time that you need to progress, you need assistance. But they say, I wish Jamila was here, a beggar is not a chooser. Is there such a thing? I think there's such a thing in Swahili.
In English too, yes.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah. Speaking of choices, I want us to swift, or did you want to add something before we
just a quick course? One. How should this conclude?
Yeah.
We can't forget that tonight, at the base of the pain about Haiti mission, are some 3 families. The latest one being that of Kabiru, a matter that was really, really mishandled. And I just wanted us to listen to the CS Murkomen, what he had to say today.
National Police Service visited his family yesterday. It may have been, I saw some people raised concerns that the message from the president went public before his family was visited. When that news was confirmed, the National Police Service dispatched a team to visit the family. But the synchronization of time made it such that by the time the president was making the statement, I think our officers had not reached the family.
I think even for a nation of retards, this wouldn't pass. And he owes an apology to the family. They need to be more sensitive to the family. Sure. If not Kenyans, but that family. Yeah. They've actually lost their kin forever. It's not coming back. And they owe the family an apology and a more clever explanation as to why they've been treated this way. I think this is extremely cruel from the CS Interior.
Indeed. Let's move to another conversation. I'm sure she'll be covering the next steps. You know, at least the other one, the family of the other officer, the body has been found, I think is being brought back.
Tomorrow.
Benedict Kabiru's, we're still waiting to hear on how that goes. And like you say, that's, I think, the symbol or the manifestation of the challenges we've been facing with this mission. Now, there's a matter of choices and what happens ahead of the election in this country, which is 2 years away. You would imagine it's 2 months away. And ODM is also mulling its choices and its decisions. And this week, Raila Odinga was reiterating the party position. Watch.
We must remain as ODM. And we've signed and agreed that we'll work together up to 2027. We have not passed any resolution as a party to say how we're going to go into the election of 2027. So wherever you are, don't commit the party to some things which have not been discussed. Let those things be discussed first. We are ODM. Who's told you that ODM will not have a candidate in 2027? Who has told you? So first, think as ODM. We have a clear plan that we have negotiated and we have agreed on, and let us continue to implement that plan. Other decisions we'll take when the time comes.
When the time comes, he says. Sam, this was happening in Mlolongo at a meeting between, I think, the leadership of the party and members of the National Assembly of ODM. And in this, you know, of course, this defense of, or clarification, if you like, of which way ODM is going, was also followed by quite a bit, because again, he went into the explanations, and we'll hear about that in a moment, about how they got into this deal in the first place, and many other things that have been happening, the Adani deal and a number of other government decisions and plans and projects. But, you know, yet again, here we are with Raila Odinga having to state what his plans are leading up to 2027, beyond 2027. I think the real question is what happens after 2027.
Right, and you can't help
rather after the election, let me be clearer. That's what I meant.
You can't help but notice the attempt to over-explain what exactly has been happening, because Raila Odinga is not speaking in a vacuum. There has been a lot of activity lately, if you have to look at even the members of parliament that have been speaking from the side of what we now understand to be Kenya Moja, the likes of the Secretary General of ODM, Edwin Sifuna, Babu Owino from Embakasi, Caleb Amisi, and other members of parliament, including the member of parliament called Anthony Kibagendi.
Yes.
So they've been speaking to an extent to show that they are not necessarily agreeing with the direction that the political party is taking. Perhaps they have realized that there might be a longer-term working arrangement with the UDA. Most of them do not agree. In fact, I think Babu Owino once called the current broad-based government names. I think he replaced G with a C, where C stands for corruption. So you can clearly see that there are serious members, I mean, many members of parliament who come from ODM but don't agree with the direction that the political party has taken. But I think as we reflect on that, there's also the importance of looking at some of the statistics that have been done, the research that has been done. If you look at the release yesterday by TIFA Research, they're talking about political parties and how loyalty has shifted since the 2022 election. In August 2022, UDA had political backing of 30% in the population. Right now, according to this measurement, it's at about 16%, which is more than 50% decline. To be specific, 57% decline. If you had to look at the ODM party, it had popularity of 32% on the election month. Right now, as you speak, it's at 13%. Again, a decline of more than 50%. But also looking at a Jubilee party, it has reduced from 5% to 3%. Wiper party has maintained at 4%. Then there's a new kid on the block, which is DCP at 9%. Ford Kenya, 1% in 2022, 1% in September and 2025. And Ford Kenya reporting 1% in both situations. DAP Kenya the same, maintaining the same. But then when you look at where these people are going, they are no longer interested in affiliating with those political parties. Are they going to other political parties? Apart from the 9% that goes to DCP, the rest are undecided. So you're looking at a population that appears to be so dissatisfied with the political class, and therefore to perhaps re-energize them, then we would understand some of the sentiments that are coming from Raila Odinga. I'm looking at another slide that talks about what Kenyans would want to see Raila Odinga doing, and it's the question of do they want him to run as a candidate? Do they want him to support William Ruto? So 32% say that he should support Ruto's re-election. Another 23% say he should rejoin the opposition and contest the presidency himself. 17% are saying rejoin the opposition and support another candidate, while 14% will say he will have retired and he will take no part in the elections. So it may look like majority appear to side with him supporting William Ruto, but do the math. 23 plus 17% is 40%. Add another 14, that is 54% who think he should actually not be with William Ruto.
Yeah.
If you have to look at 23% who say he should rejoin the opposition and run, it is 23% against a balance of 77% who do not think he should rejoin the opposition and run, perhaps not run at all. So it would explain perhaps why he should be taking this direction, because again, they are able to consume numerous information on the direction politics is taking in the country. So for him to come and say that a decision will be taken ahead of 2027, it's to keep the support base guessing and hopeful that perhaps something might happen. If you listen to Jared Mohammed saying that if something is not clear, listen to Baba's speech. If you have any questions, listen to Baba's speech. I mean, it's quite something to say that still hoping that Raila Odinga can give them the direction.
Yeah, and you know, with respect to that, the need to just explain and help people understand, because, you know, based on what you're talking about with that poll, it's very clear, and you know, they know it, that they've suffered, you know, a setback and a dent in their reputation. I want us to listen to Raila Odinga explaining why ODM threw its lot in with UDA following the Gen Z-led protests in the country in 2024.
Some people may not even know exactly where we were. But because I had a first inside impression of what was happening, we were very much almost on the precipice. Because as you see, after so many days of demonstrations, you saw that eventually the military were on the streets. And they were on the streets, of course, they were fairly civil to the Wananchi at that time. But that was because they had not been given instructions.
Indeed, and he also continued to explain just how bad things were going to get.
Once the military are given instructions, they execute. And we are almost there. They're almost there. So he said it's better to have a country that is civil, where leadership can be replaced through the ballot rather than through the bullets. And that was one of the reasons why we did what we did at that time.
And finally, the rationale for his decision and what drove or drives his ambition for leadership.
Times like this, it is possible for politicians to spend more time listening to the echoes of their own voices and the cheers from the masses, and forget that we are leaders and we are supposed to be leading. In times like this, it is possible to be lost in competing campaigns or populism and forget that leading means making decisions that may sometimes invite booing instead of cheers. I have been there. I've been cheered and I've been booed.
Right now, where is he? On which side of that pendulum or the scale is he sitting on?
Identity crisis, Yvonne. ODM and its party leader is facing an identity crisis, and they are caught on a crossroad. On the one side, they believe that they did the right thing siding with William Ruto's UDA and standing with them when things looked rather out of hand, and they managed to stabilize the political environment of the country. But on the other hand, they are also facing a situation whereby they would want to believe that as things stand now, ODM and its party leader stands a better chance of going for and claiming what they've always sought after. So it's a tough balancing act for them, because on one side, you really have to support this arrangement that you went into. And because you told us you believed in it, you have to stick your neck out for it. But on the other hand, kwa ground, vile wanasikia vitu zinaendelea, they feel like this might be it. So what do we do? And I think that is why, if you ask me now, I'll tell you that ODM is unhinged, because you no longer know who speaks for the party. Because Raila Odinga's statements on the future of the party, especially in 2027, came only 3 days after the national chairperson led a team of women leaders in Kisumu to announce that as ODM, they would support William Ruto for a second term. And you see, when Gladys Wanga speaks as the national chairperson, and 3 days later Raila Odinga speaks as the party leader, and then there's the Secretary General that speaks on the other side, then it becomes very difficult to know which way ODM is moving to. So for me, it's an identity crisis. They may be having boardroom struggles or squabbles on just where do we face and what do we tell our members. As it is, they're trying to balance both sides of the scale.
Yeah, and you know, you said something about, you know, they made this decision to go in, and now they have to, stick to their guns and stick it out. And then some would say, well, okay, you can stick with this arrangement where, according to him, they donated some of their experts to this administration. But then it's sometimes in the defense of this administration's decisions that goes a step further than that, that says, okay, it's one thing to donate the experts, but it's also another thing to be singing the government tune. And that's what, to some, this might have sounded like. Here is Raila Odinga defending the now defunct Adani deal.
A similar arrangement is happening in Kigali. So the Qataris are building Kigali International Airport in the same terms like Adani wanted to do here. So Kigali is going to be the hub in this region, not Nairobi, because of noise being made by other parties which are also interested in doing what Adani was supposed to do and paying people down under the table to make noise every day in the newspapers. Shame on them.
And you can understand why some Kenyans are confounded by what this arrangement is. Before you start giving me looks around the table, that wasn't the only government project he defended. He also defended the planned privatization of Kenya Pipeline Corporation.
Kenya Pipeline Corporation. The pipeline is underground from Mombasa to here. Even if you sell it, where is somebody taking it to? It remains very much an asset of Kia. It is just there on the ground. Somebody want to buy it, buy it. That is what Margaret Thatcher told Britons when the Arabs were coming with petrodollars to buy historical buildings in the UK. She said, even if they buy Buckingham Palace, where are they going to take it? It remains here. Your asset. It's an idle asset. Sell it so that you get money instead of going to borrow. Big money to invest instead of going to borrow here. I want to sell the shares of Safaricom. Why not? Why don't you sell the shares of Safaricom? It just remains here in the country.
Yeah, okay. For the record, KPC is not an idle asset. It's actually fairly profitable, just from a numbers perspective. Before we get to that side of the table for the numbers, Linus, what's going on here? What's happening?
I want to take it up from Canon's assertion about ODM identity crisis. Yeah. I agree. It is an identity crisis. And I think sometimes ODM cannot decide between being a political party and a political insurance company. And there is a trail to that. Because post-election, every post-election, the party has somehow found a way of converting itself into something that is more than just a political party. And right now they're in the middle of that arrangement again. I want to start with what they have done right now. What they've done right now is to ensure President William Ruto and UDA from the effects and impact of the fallout with Rigathi Gachagua. Stop and imagine for a moment if ODM remained as a non-insurer, completely on the sidelines. What would have happened to UDA without Rigathi Gachagua and without the Mount Kenya bloc? It's a question.
Very good question.
Yeah. What would have happened? We would have been in a crisis. So they smartly saw this as a good opportunity to offer insurance. And the insurance this time came at a good price. And I say a good price because I want to compare it with another cover they gave for free some time back. In this insurance, you said they donated experts. President William Ruto has given ODM real power. Mm-hmm. You have ministerial appointments. And you you can tell they are in power. You can tell they are part of the governing structures, which is why you can see the party leader there speaking very confidently about some of the most contentious issues like Adani and KPC. Although to his credit, and I think he only spoke once about this, Raila Odinga's first interaction with Adani was Raila Odinga and William Ruto's interaction with Adani was during the Grand Coalition government of Mwai Kibaki. Yeah. And they actually went to Hyderabad and saw some of the things that Adani was doing at the time. But what he is not clear about is the vision of the 2008 coming this way. Are we dealing with Adani the same way the Grand Coalition intended to deal with him? And that's where the problem lies. So with this insurance to President Ruto and UDA, they have gotten real power. And these days, you just need to look at ODM. They are not even bothering with a judgment by the court that Azimio is the majority party in the National Assembly. They even don't want that one. No. Yeah, it's a small thing in the larger scheme of things. That's really good insurance. Now, I had told you that ODM may be making up for lost opportunities. ODM insured President Uhuru Kenyatta from the effect and impact of the fallout with Deputy President William Ruto. Again, stop and imagine what would have happened if ODM was a political party on the sidelines and leave Uhuru and Ruto to differences to, take their natural courses. I think we would have had an early election because clearly William Ruto was controlling a lot of the levers, including members of parliament, a majority. That's why the talk of impeachment would not even have worked. Yeah. But ODM came in, insured Uhuru Kenyatta for the rest of the term. And look, the contention right now is, and you saw the party leader saying, who told you we are not, we don't have a candidate in 2027? Yeah, because, like all insurance covers, there is the expiry period. So this insurance runs between last year and 2027.
Do you know the exact date? Is it before the election or does it go beyond?
It works exactly like your insurance works. There'll be a notification from the insurer.
It's expiring.
Of impending expiry.
This day. So you make that choice. And I think we are seeing a bit of those notifications coming right now.
And some claims.
Claims. No, claims I think have been paid out quite well in the manner of cabinet appointments and all the voices that ODM is having. Yeah. So I think there'll be a notification prior to 2027. Do you want to renew your insurance post 2027? And that is what the party leader is saying. Basically saying, hey, this one runs up to 2027. Yeah. The one beyond that is not yet out. The notification is not yet out. So I hope, Bonyo, we've sorted your identity crisis. Yeah. It's between being a political party and being an insurance company. And it has done it very well, secured Uhuru's second term, and it has saved William Ruto first term.
First term, yeah. And perhaps also from the Gen Z-led protests as well. Because there was a serious crisis of legitimacy after that.
And look, this explains why you find Raila explaining himself too often and repeating this story of what could have happened.
The military.
Yes.
Because the truth is, Raila Odinga is, just like William Ruto, the one thing they share in common is they have got a good pulse of the feel on the ground, how the ground feels. Raila Odinga knows that his name was mentioned in complimentary terms by the Gen Z during the protest.
Yeah.
They told him, Baba, don't come out this time.
We got you.
We've got you. We'll take care of this.
Yes, we'll take it from
He
here.
knows.
Yeah.
He knows that. He knows there is talk of betrayal by this youth that went out in the streets. That we went out, we told you we'll fight for the things that we've always been fighting for. This is why you find him time and again saying it should have been Sudan, it should have gone the route of Egypt. Because of that guilt, to explain to the youth that actually, in the initial stages of their protests, identified with his cause, with his causes, and so he knows that. And I think the other reason he keeps explaining is just in case the insurance is not renewable in 2027, there'll be a starting point. And I keep pointing out at the alibi in Homa Bay Stadium when he hosted President Ruto and said, I've told him to release the people that have been abducted. And you know, those are political alibis. So that if the insurance is not renewed in 2027, he'll have a starting point and say, I even told him abductions are not good. I even told him this and that.
I raised it in our agenda for, coming together, that compensation was one of those things that was important.
So he's protecting both directions.
Okay. Insurance 101, underwriting. Sam?
Exemptions too.
Exemptions. Well, maybe not just exemptions, but caveats. Let's listen to Jeanette Mohammed. If in any doubt...
We are going to take Baba's speech and disseminate it to members of parliament individually and tell them, whenever an issue arises, refer to Baba's speech. Paragraph 2. Another issue arises, refer to Baba's speech. Another issue of economy, refer to Baba's speech. Issue on politics, refer to Baba's speech. Issue on broad-based government, refer to Baba's speech. If you are in doubt, refer to Baba's speech. And if you want to know more, refer to Baba's speech.
So that's a brilliant statement.
Yeah. Indeed. So, because...
If in doubt,
yes,
refer to that statement.
Listen, because Jamila is not here, I have to...
allocate.
Yes, to do the honors of, first of all, saying this is Tumefika Kikomo. Where do we start today? Who do we start with? Mr. Sam, it's been a while since you started, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Wa mwisho ndiye atakuwa wa kwanza. So, with our final words,